have this feeling every time we choose.
Yes, everybody, welcome back to Uzi Mumbai, the hub of everything Mumbai City FC, where today we'll be taking a look at all the preseason matches that Mumbai City FC have played and all the results and all the inferences that we have to decipher from them. So without any further ado, let's get down to it. So the first match that Mumbai played was against Kerala Blasters. You guys didn't do it. Alright, I'm continuing with
You
this.
said not to do.
I didn't know we were going to do that.
Okay, fuck it. I'm continuing with it. Doesn't matter. So the first match that Mumbai played was against Kerala Blasters. Now, in this match, there were no foreign players. Almost all Indian players played. So there were two halves.
Foreign players, dude.
Right, there were two halves. So in the first half, no foreign players for Kerala. I'm sorry, and we had two foreigners play for us. Hanan Santana played the first half and Sai Godard played the second half. So, obviously, this is what's been reported out there. Now, how these preseason matches also work out is that usually they don't have just two halves. They have like 4 halves or maybe 4 quarters. So they have a lot more time to stretch out the game and give more players, run for their money. So the news out there is all we've gotten, that only 2 foreigners played, and obviously we failed to score. But that was just the first game, so there's not much to look at it. So the next game, Chennai.
Right. Chennai was a game where we kept a clean sheet and we scored 1. In this game, from what I heard, it was like a proper 90-minute game, 2 halves, 45-45.
Mm-hmm.
And we had more foreigners than last time in Adam Lafondra, and I think Jahu was also fit for this game. And Ogbeche was as well. So Lafondra and Bart, they took 45 minutes each. I think Lafondra played the first half and Bart played the second. Lafondra ended up scoring. And what I'm really impressed with here is the defense. You have players like Changte and Thapa in Chennai, very dangerous Indian players, very reputed Indian players. And you have our youngsters in Sarthak Golui, you have, Mohammad Rakib, and whoever else played in that defense. They're handling it well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's reassuring to see back-to-back clean sheets. It shows that it's not just a one-off thing, and maybe our defense is better than what we expected it to be.
Yeah.
So
Right.
Mumbai played Odisha for the third game. The score was 3-2, and probably our only highest scoring game of the preseason. Our goals came from Rowlin, Ogbeche, and an as of now unknown own goal by an Odisha player. Not sure on that. We conceded goals by Nanda and Marcelino, and probably the goals we did concede were individual errors, and as per sources as well. So because we don't know the players as such, we can't make any proper decisions of like how the goals went in, and because the players weren't probably our starting 11 players, like they were probably just normal errors that you see once in a while. So the chance of it happening during a proper ISL game is highly unlikely.
Yeah.
Our goals came from Rowlin, Ogbeche, and the unknown player. Ogbeche probably are playing up front with ALF playing on the right as well, like Lobera's trying to experiment. What's unlikely is seeing Pranjal on the right back, probably because of fitness, but more likely Lobera just trying out new stuff. And it's good to see him give a lot of these players fitness and like trying them out in different positions to just try and increase their versatility.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's about it from the Odisha game.
Yeah. So then the final game that we played was against BFC. Now, obviously, all of us hate BFC, so it was a good result for us. So now, just to go a little bit, we'll run down the squad. And there's quite a lot of news to actually unpack here, because we've actually got quite a lot of information for this game, right? So now Mumbai, obviously, again, a lot of changes were made at halftime. The lineup that we went with was Amrinder Singh, Amrinder Paji, then we had Rakib, and then we had Sarthak at centre back. But then a surprising one was that Santana played at centre back as well, with Vignesh playing at left back, a player that at the start of the season, maybe even at the start of the last season, seemed out of favour at Mumbai. We had Jahu and Roland Borges playing through the middle of the park, and then we had Boomu, Lafondra, Rainier, and Ogbeche playing as well. The Bangalore side, Shlok, do you want to talk about the Bangalore side?
Yeah.
Because I can't be you.
They had a pretty strong lineup as well. Gurpreet in goal. Then they had Khabra, Pratik, Juanan, and Ashik in their back four.
Yeah.
Again, Ashik at left back, something that pisses me off. Suresh and Eric in the double pivot, I'm guessing. and then Udanta, Clayton, Semboy, and Chetri up front.
Mhm.
Where exactly Clayton played, where exactly Chetri played, I have no idea. I don't know what they lined up like on the pitch. On Mumbai, we have a fair idea because Pradyum Reddy did upload a photo
Yep.
what looked to be the formation on the pitch, and
That's on the
interestingly,
screen.
it was Lefondre on the right.
Yeah.
Right. Very strange. But yeah, what do you think about the fixture, Clyde? 1-0 win for us.
I mean, we're used to beating BFC, so like I like to see us continue that streak. Hopefully, it goes on during the league as well. And just I'd
Yeah.
like to notice is like our defense doesn't seem as fragile as people make it out to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For 3 out of our 4 preseason games, we kept a clean sheet, and the 2 goals that did come against Odisha as well seem to be individual errors.
Mhm.
So
Right.
it's good to see us not concede as many goals, but as on the preseason, I'm assuming our strikers need to get some game time before they start firing on all cylinders as well.
Yep. So
Good
it's
points.
cool.
Just like to add, so the goal that we scored in this game came from Bumu, and it was a deflection that came off Eric Bartolo. Just wanted to put that in. I don't think we mentioned it, so
Yeah, but I think it came out in the 60th minute as well. So it'd be interesting to see if some of the players from the starting 11 played the full 90 or if they were, benched at half time,
right.
perhaps.
seems like a very gritty game. Though a lot of players were talking about how it was a tough game after the match had finished, and
Yeah.
you can see that both teams were playing at nearly full strength,
Yeah.
with the exception of Fall, which is an interesting talking point. Someone would you like to mention that?
Yeah, it's quite interesting because despite Murtada Fall not playing a single game, Mumbai kept not only clean sheets but they kept quite great players at bay. Even in the Odisha game, you kept like Diego Mauricio against Kerala. Obviously, it was an all-Indian lineup, but even against BFC, to keep the likes of maybe Clayton or Chetri at bay with a centre back pairing of Sarthak Goli and a player who's not really a centre back. I think it shows that we have the defensive ability, and the worries that we have had before preseason, they may not be as prominent, or they may not be as big as we made them out to be.
Overall, the preseason did seem like great for us. It got a lot of. What I like to see is basically everyone getting a chance to get their fitness levels high.
Yeah.
We didn't see a single starting 11 playing throughout the preseason. We saw a bunch of experiments attack. Like maybe I hope to see a bit of variations in the formations as well. I hope we just don't stick to like the 4-2-3-1 that we usually do.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have such attacking prowess, I'm pretty sure Lobera can try and experiment with a few more different things. Maybe a two at top at sometimes. Maybe
Yeah.
like a long ball tactic. Just a bit of variation throughout, so we can get that kind of plan B that I feel like Mumbai has been lacking in the previous seasons.
Yeah.
Rather than just like putting one long ball over the top and just hoping for some miracle.
Yeah.
I like to see us, because you have Jahu and Raul in the middle of the park, we have that stability at the back, so our forward line, like the 3 and the 1, can go more attacking, and we have. I'm assuming that a lot of our defensive capabilities, like because we don't concede as many goals because we have Raul and Jahu. Like I think Jahu had the most tackles last season, and I think Raul was third if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we definitely have a lot of like
Midfield protection, right? Yeah.
midfield protection as well. Plus, they're just great handlers of the ball. Like you can completely depend on them having the ball at their feet at all times.
Yeah.
So it's great to see
Absolutely.
them develop a bit as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Man.
Another breakout, I think, we've talked about good defensive players. I think Rakib has really come through here. From what I've heard, he's gotten a good amount of game time.
Yeah.
And, again, he's keeping some very good left wingers away from our goal. And, I'll be the first to admit that I was wrong here. I was constantly throwing doubts that, how good he can be defensively. But he's really shown that he's learning, and he's going to be a great player for us very soon.
Yeah.
If not this season, then definitely next season he's going to be a mainstay for us.
Yeah.
I think another point would be Rainier on the left wing.
Yep.
That's something we
Called it.
classic. I think that can really happen. And Sai Goddard, even though we haven't talked about him much right now, he seems to be a very interesting player in
Yep.
terms of what he offers. Actually, it's different from what Bumu offers or a conventional number 10 would, from what I've heard. And it would, I think he could be playing in a different position, maybe on the wing this year.
Yeah. From the reports that we've been getting, he's looked fantastic. He's looked dynamic, and obviously he hasn't scored. but you can often influence the game without scoring. And if you
Could have assisted for all we know.
he could have assisted all the games for all we know.
Yeah.
So the reports all seem to be on the up and up. All the news, and I think if I'm not wrong, we are the only team that have been undefeated in preseason.
Vamos.
They're not
ATKMB is undefeated because they didn't play any games.
It's surprising how they started training first, but didn't get a single game. Anyways, but even though it's just preseason and a lot of these news or results don't really matter, you always want a positive result in the preseason and be happy than a negative one and be conservative about how good the result was. So at the end of the day, I think we've done really, really well in preseason, especially with the likes of Vignesh and Pranjal, who seemed out of favor but now are being given a second chance. You see that maybe there's a lot more squad depth and a lot more trust that Lubera has shown into the players than we've seen, regularly. But what do you guys feel about the preseason matches? Did you feel that we were good enough? Should we have scored more goals? That's always going to be an issue, I guess, for a lot of people. But anyways, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you soon. Bye bye.